Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of the D-Pad Discourse. This edition will be for the week that started on March 16th, 2014. Alright, this edition of the D-Pad Discourse will start off by talking about Marc Whitten, who left Xbox to go on to Sonos. Marc Whitten was at Xbox for a pretty long time. He recently was in the video for the Connect features for the Xbox One. So it was pretty surprising to see him go away so soon after the launch of the Xbox One. But again, just like with Jack Tretton a few weeks back, this move from Marc Whitten was probably planned for a while, and it's probably him just saying that he wants to, move on to other things, and he's moving on to Sonos, so he will probably have more control over things there and hopefully he does well there. Alright, this week was GDC, and both Sony and Microsoft showed a lot of stuff. So we're going to talk about it in this edition of the D-Pad Discourse. We're going to first talk about Sony at GDC. Sony showed off their new VR module headset, you could say, and it's called, right now it's called Project Morpheus. And it looks really cool. People who have used it said it's pretty cool and works well. I'm very interested in virtual reality. It seems like it will be this generation's motion control when it comes to a new feature that has that will be copied by just about everybody. I'm pretty sure it will be copied by Microsoft. At least that's what people are saying. Microsoft will also do VR, and you also have the Oculus Rift coming too. But I'm interested in VR in terms of new tech, but when it comes to actually using it every day, I'm not that interested in it. It seems like it would be a little bit uncomfortable to use when gaming, at least for me, especially if the device itself, the VR device itself, is pretty heavy. And it doesn't even have to be that heavy. It could just be, enough to notice me having it on my face while I'm playing the game, and that alone will make me not want to use it for a good amount of time while playing the game, and I'll rather just play games on a TV screen. So I'm definitely interested in it. I want to try it out, but I can't see myself using it all the time or buying it, especially if it will be pretty expensive. But either way, it's cool, and it's gonna be interesting to see what Sony does with the VR tech that they now have or revealed in later years, since I'm pretty sure they'll be making some exclusive games for PS4 with VR in mind. Alright, now Microsoft gave details during GDC about DirectX 12, which will give Xbox One games a visual improvement. But the games that will get visually improved by DirectX 12 won't be coming until holiday 2015 at the earliest. So it's still, a pretty decent amount of time away for us to see games being made with this in mind. But it's still good news. Xbox One is behind the PS4 in terms of specs, but both the Xbox One and PS4 will be getting better games as this gen moves along. So it's going to be interesting to see how much these games will improve on these consoles, especially as the tech matures, developers get more used to the consoles, and things such as DirectX 12 will definitely help out the way that these games will look. Alright, and to end off this edition of the D-Pad Discourse, the launch of Infamous was this week. It was probably the biggest PS4 game for this first half of this year, and many people were looking forward to it. The game got pretty solid reviews. Some of them were kind of mixed, but it got pretty solid reviews. If I remember correctly, the game right now on Metacritic is at an 80, which is really solid. I know a lot of people expected it to be higher, but an 80 is still, nothing to scoff at it. It's still a solid score, and it's a good thing that the game got an 80, because if it got a 79, even though 79 is 1 point away from an 80, that would have changed the whole console war and debate about what console has better games. It would have changed it completely. I mean, people would be going crazy over the game getting a 79. Xbox fanboys using it for ammo. PS fanboys sending death threats to reviewers due to the game having a 79 on Metacritic. It would just be crazy. And a decent amount of people that did give the game less than an 80 did, you know, get a lot of hate recently in the comment boxes and comment sections of videos or websites, and it was still, you know, pretty nasty. Overall, I understand why Infamous is being compared to Titanfall and the whole console war, since both of those games are the very first, you know, huge games being released on both of the consoles after their launches. And you know, those two games are pretty much 2014's first big games for both consoles, but still the games are so different from each other that comparing them is pretty silly. And they're both, you know, solid games, and it's, you know, two good games to play during the early life of the console. And you know, it's just silly to see people fight about it while, you know, people should be playing the games, you know, since they're pretty solid. But anyway, Infamous on the PS4, it looks great. Graphics are great, and it's really great to see a game look this good on the PS4 during the system's early life. And it bodes pretty well for the system in the future, since games will only look even better from here on out. So I can only imagine how PS4 games will look 4 to 5 years from now. Should be pretty impressive. Alright, and that was this edition of the D-Pad Discourse. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next week for another edition. Until then, I'll see you. Brad Davis saying goodbye.